Back. Oh, hello! So that happened a little faster than I anticipated. Here I am talking to my guest, knowing she can't talk back, and all of a sudden I'm live in all the places. So hello, welcome to today's Badass Funnel Fiesta. I am the Funnel Badass, JKN, and I'm really excited to talk to you, but also to my guest, because I love guests. I love doing interviews. And what we're talking about today is efficiency, being more efficient, more productive in your business. And let me tell you that between my productivity level yesterday and my productivity level today is like night and day. Yesterday, stressed out. All of the things happened. It was a short day for me anyway, because my kid had a concert last night. But Thursdays are typically shorter days for me. So instead of working later in the evening, I worked shorter hours, and it kept me up last night. I got up in the middle of the night and started doing all of the planning so that today I could be super, super, super productive, and I have been. So enough of me. Let's bring up our guest, or my guest, your guest, whoever's guest. Cherie is an efficiency expert. And let me tell you, I was introduced to her because of the work she was doing for people in the Calendly space. That alone can be a game changer for you in your business. So let's talk about things that you can do to end out your year, figure out what you need to do to up your productivity in 2024, and just have some fun. So, Cherie, hi.
Hello.
What's up?
Thanks for having me. I am excited to talk about efficiency and all of the wonderful things to keep you on task.
Okay, so first, like I just said, we were introduced to each other. You introduced yourself to me, whatever it is. I'm all over the place today. As a Calendly expert. So what can we tell people? How can we give them a quick win right now today when it comes to their calendar? Let's start there, because I think that would be something that really gets people thinking about the changes that they can make and make big impacts in the time that they are spending on anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so calendars specifically, not Calendly specifically. My first quick win is create a master calendar. Create a master one where all of your calendars live in one space, and you can take away and you can add them based on what you're needing to look at in that moment. So then it doesn't matter what online scheduling tool you use, you will always be able to connect all of your things, so you will never worry about double booking again in case there's a limit on how many calendars can be added to your online scheduler, or based on how the program runs. Have a master calendar. Add everything in your day to that master calendar, so that way you always know what the next thing to do is in your day. And then you can create have reoccurring ones. If there's a reoccurring task that happens on a daily basis, weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, monthly basis, create those reoccurring events so that way you know. And then you can also create it so that you are showing as busy or as free on your calendar, so that people can still book over top of those free spots, so you know what you have to do. But if it's less important than, say, a meeting, they can still book in that spot.
That's good. So one thing that I learned, because I have 96 Google accounts, which means I have 96 calendars. I work on a lot of different projects for a lot of different companies at the same time, and they all have their own Google email, right? Their own Google Drive, their own Google Calendar. And one thing that I had to learn is how do I word this? So I have calendars that are specific to this project, this project, this project, this project, right? But if I'm personally booking something, I'm just putting it on my calendar, or I'm adding somebody to an invite from my master calendar, I tell everybody, this invite is coming from my master calendar, and this is what the address is. So they're not like, who the H is this, right? So that's one thing that I learned a long time ago about having a master calendar and all of the things. But this is a really important question. I feel very strongly about this. How do you feel about color coding your calendar?
Oof, I feel so strongly about color coding, as in it needs to happen. I have color codes and I have sub color codes for the color codes. It's all color coded.
I don't have subcolor codes, but I'm very specific. Like my family color is purple, like the bright, I don't know what it's called, the bright purple, not the lavender, the bright purple. And then if we have like, we have to go somewhere with other pieces of family, like not my immediate family, those are red. Those are like, I have to go. And if I book something over this, my husband's probably going to kill me. So I'm a huge proponent. I get so angry too. If somebody, not if somebody books, but if I'm going through my calendar and I see a color and then I look at the appointment itself and it's not the right color, I get very angry. I'm like, I could have missed this because it's not the appropriate color. So anyway, random rabbit hole. Color coding is important, friends. Oh, this is a good story. So back when I was more of an executive assistant, I guess you could call it. But the person that I worked for did not believe in color coding, and I was like in charge of his calendar. And we were putting things on the calendar all the time, all over the place, meetings, sales presentations, all of the things, and they were all red. His entire calendar, every single appointment was red. And I'm like, look, we cannot do this any longer. How do you know what anything is? And actually he came to me one day. I told him for months, we've got to color code this. And he's like, nah, it's fine. I'm fine. I know what's happening. And then one day, I don't even remember what it was. Something pretty big happened. And he was like, I need this color coded. So I spent the whole day. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Fun story. Color coding is important, friends. Okay, so the calendar thing is where, I don't know if this is true, but in my head, that's like your baseline. That's kind of where you started, and you've evolved into this efficiency expert. Tell me what that looks like. And more specifically, let's just start there because I'll have a follow-up question.
Yeah, so it kind of evolved from there because what I do is, and specifically to Calendly to start with, was I don't just help to set up the system. I help my clients walk through the entire process of it, right? What does your schedule look like? What do you want your availability to look like based on the type of people you're meeting with? So then based on that, you're freeing up your space and your time. And then what does your client journey look like, right? What do the people look like when they're going through your booking system? Do you have all the answers you need? Do they have all the answers they need? Is communication clear? Are the expectations set properly? Do you have payments set if you need payments set? Are your integrations added that make the most sense to save you the most time? Are your workflows set up so that way it's personalized, but at the same time, you're again saving more time so you don't have to do it all manually. So from there, it evolved a little bit because now, well, what are those systems that are connecting to Calendly or your online scheduler? Because they can apply to any online scheduler. So then what are those systems that you're working with behind the scenes? Do they actually work for your business? What does your budget look like based on what you need and what you have? Are you going down rabbit holes in the systems you have because they don't actually work for you or your business and you just got them because someone said you should have this? So then I kind of help to, look at how to save time in the systems and help them work for you, not against you. And so that's kind of how that evolved, saving more time, especially with the follow-ups and the reminders and all of those things for all of the tech and the tools and everything that connects together.
So, friends, we all know everything is a funnel. And what I just heard you say is when we don't have our calendar under control, when we don't have the process because I'm American, process because she's Canadian, but when we don't have those systems in place, this is I don't know if opportune is the right word for me to use, but this is a really good spot where it can create a giant hole in your funnel and you can lose people. So I really want to focus. I know we're going back to the calendar part, but I really want to focus on things that people can do to make sure that those holes all get plugged. So the first thing that I heard you say is in your calendar setup, making sure that you get all of the answers that you need to the meeting and that they also get the things that they need. So what does that part look like? Give us some suggestions, some examples.
Yeah. So the things that they need, one is your description. I have seen so many people that set up their online schedulers and there is absolutely no description. It does depend on how this person is coming to you. Are they a hot lead? Is it someone that you've already talked about? They know exactly what they're already expecting. Or is it someone that you throw a link out into the universe and they're randomly coming to you and have no idea who you are? You want to make sure that you're telling them what to expect on that call. How are you connecting with them? What is the call even about? And then, when you're in the questions, you want to make sure you have, your pre-screening questions. Doesn't matter what type of event. I like to use coffee chats as an example because those are kind of my favorite things to do. So I have questions for my coffee chats because I want to know who they are before I get on the call. Otherwise, it creates a really awkward beginning moments of who are you and what do you even do? And I don't understand. So in those questions, ask for what is their business? What inspired them to get started? What are their social media links? What is their website link? How can I support you? Right. And that's very broad, but in a more of a collaboration aspect in a coffee chat. Right. So making sure, so now they know what to expect and you know what to expect at the same time. It does the same thing with those questions. And then your reminders and your email sequence or your text messages are also going to have some of that information as well, right? So making sure that it's personalized. Do they need a workbook or do they need some type of download that they need to have access to before the call? Make sure they have that. Add any additional information, personalize it so it's your brand voice in that reminder, so that way, again, they know who you are, what to expect. And this one is, I don't think everyone agrees, but have a cancellation policy, even if it's a free event. That is your expectation, right? You are telling them, I expect you to let me know if you can't make it because this is important to me. I have set this time aside for you. So you need to take this as seriously as I do. And it doesn't need to be abrasive. It can be really gentle. I'm a gentle kind of person. So I create everything gentle.
I'm not as gentle as she is, but I think we all know that. Okay. I should have been taking better notes because you said 3 things that I wanted to go back to. Oh man, I forgot the first one. So good. Cancellations, reminder, not the description. Oh yeah, the coffee chat. Okay. What should we talk about first? Okay, let's go with the reminders. So I don't know about you. Let me ask you this question. Of all of the people that get on your calendar across the board, any kind of appointment that you have, what would you say your cancellation rate is? Cancellation, maybe not cancellation, but no-shows specifically. How many people fail to show up for their scheduled appointment?
I actually have my analytics, but I don't have them pulled up. I would say maybe 2 over the course of a year.
Okay. And I know the answer to this because I'm the exact same way. Would you attribute that to you have the processes in place so that those people get multiple reminders?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that's definitely a part of it for sure.
Yeah. I don't even know how many reminders. I have a small window of time for the most part that people can book in. It's like a week. I don't want to book outside of a week because a lot can happen, but they get a confirmation reminder and it should put it on their calendar at the same time. And then they most definitely get a 24-hour reminder. And then I think I have an hour reminder and even a 15-minute reminder, maybe even a 5. So my cancellation policy, or not cancellation policy, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I never, ever, ever, ever have somebody not show up unless they told me beforehand, like, hey, I have to reschedule. And that's a completely different thing. People don't forget about my appointments because I make sure that I'm reminding them. That should be on you, not on them, because it's your process. It's your funnel, right? It's your hole that you need to fill. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
I do.
Okay. So then the second part of that, you said cancellation policy. I would love to know what your cancellation policy is.
So I ask for 24 hours notice if they're unable to make it, just to respect both of our time. That is how I word it. I don't have anything, or else. There's nothing, there's no consequence to it, but it's just, that reminder. And I have people that will, when that 24-hour reminder goes out, I will have people say, actually, I do have to reschedule. And so I think having that combination works really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. And I don't really have a cancellation policy. I don't care if you cancel. Like I want to know, like I'd love to know an hour before, but I always have something in the background, like before COVID, when I was still doing a ton of face-to-face coffee chats, which I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. But what I would do is I would sit in a Panera for a very big chunk of time, and people would just come back and forth all day long, right? So I got into the habit a long time ago to be prepared for somebody to not show up. I did not have all those reminders in place when I was doing the face-to-face, but I was always prepared for no-shows. So if somebody cancels on me last minute, it's not a big deal. I'm prepared to be productive in that time. But what about no-shows? What's your policy on that? Because I have a very strict policy.
I actually haven't had to deal with it too much. For no-shows, in Calendly, there's a no-show marker that you can add. So I make sure I go and I click off that they no-showed. It stops any workflows from going through past that. And, if it happens more than once, I understand. Like stuff comes up, whatever. Twice, well, I don't know. That now it feels like I'm no longer a priority. And if it were a third time, that would be it.
You are much more gentle than me because you stand me up and you're not getting on my calendar again. Unless I'm like our friend Jenny says, I'm not a complete monster. So there are always times when some type of emergency comes up. But when that happens, people are always like, I'm usually angry, and I've marked them off, right, as a no-show. And then eventually they'll say, I'm so sorry, my kid got sick and we had to go to the doctor, and I'm like, oh, okay, that totally makes sense, right? Reschedule, no problem. But the people who have I just forgot, or you don't get on my schedule again. Like I do not have the patience or the time to be, it's mostly patience. If you stand me up, it's just rude. So I don't allow people to get on my calendar again if they stand me up. That's my policy, and I stick to it. So for those going forward, don't ever stand me up if you want to be friends.
That's what I was thinking. Man, I better make sure I mark your stuff on my calendar like 5 times. Reminders.
It's different too if we have some sort of a relationship. Like if you were to stand me up one day, I would assume that something was going on with you. And I would probably say, I would send you a message and I would say, hey, are you okay? I would not be angry that you stood me up. I'm going to assume something came up. But it's those new relationships, new people, especially that are trying to get into your space and either pitch you their own stuff or they want to learn from you. And I just feel like it is incredibly rude. That's your first impression, right? If your first interaction with me is you can't even take the time to tell me that you're not going to be able to make it, especially since I put a reschedule link in every single reminder, every single calendar thing, like it's there always. My dog needs some attention. Blah, 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 blah. So I don't have any patience for it. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about, crap, I only wrote down coffee, so I'm not even sure. Oh, I remember. The other thing that you said, and going back to a previous topic, we were talking about putting the things that you need to know in your scheduling system, right? When they book the appointment, they answer the questions, and then you give them the things that they need to know. Specifically talking about coffee chats, and you said that you love them. if you're collecting that basic information, like what do you do? How did you get into it? How long have you been doing it? On when somebody books that coffee chat, it gives you more time to dive into the meat and potatoes of how can we work together, or I want to learn more about your business, all of the things. So I love that you mentioned that, because it gets rid of the awkwardness on the front end a lot of us experience in our coffee chats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. I love it. Okay, so a couple of things that I really wanted to talk about. You have taken this efficiency expertness to another level, and you are now, I assume, you're mentoring people in their VA businesses, right? So I assume you're teaching them how to maximize their efficiency so that they can, help their clients be more efficient. Am I making stuff up?
That's definitely part of it. But what I'm doing is, based on my experience starting as a virtual assistant, I am helping women get started as virtual assistants and then build their own businesses to build their dream life, right? I wanted this for over 20 years, and I'm not that old, I promise. Actually, I was probably exaggerating. Let's just say I was exaggerating. But
I haven't wanted anything for 20 years. Let's call it what it is, except for a Porsche. I have wanted a Porsche for 20 years, and that is the only thing that I've wanted that long.
And you still don't have a Porsche?
Porsche.
Oh, Porsche.
Car. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have a Porsche.
I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
No. Okay, so anyway. You wanted to create this VA mentorship for 20 years because that's how amazing that you've been, and now you're putting it into place. I totally cut you off. I apologize.
That's okay. So I wanted to work from home for a very long time. And so when I finally got started, I, hit a bunch of road bumps. I did a lot of things wrong. I made a lot of mistakes, and it took me a lot longer to build my business to where it is now. And so I want to help other women not go through those challenges, not hit those road bumps, and see success a lot faster than I did. And so that's why I'm starting this CVA mentorship program. And so the pieces that it has in it that I think are different from other things out there is, one, it's very high touch in support and guidance. So I do one-on-one and group mentorship sessions. Two, I am also doing hands-on training. So I'm calling them virtual action labs. And so the women going through the program are actually getting hands-on experience in different tasks that you would do as a virtual assistant, so that they can develop their skills. They can figure out exactly what they love to do. And when they start to get a client, they already know all of those processes to put into place with their client. And then three, at the end of the 6 months, I'm going to match them with a business owner based on their skills and their personality and the profile that they've built through the virtual action labs to a business owner.
Wow. So it's not only a mentorship program, it's basically like you're building a VA agency.
No, not a VA agency. I am not keeping these virtual assistants underneath of me. I am simply matching the two sides together. So I will also have a business owner program. I haven't quite started developing that side of it yet, but I will also have a program on that side to help business owners identify what they need to outsource, how to delegate, identify what their business needs are, so then I can match the business owner to the right virtual assistant.
My dog is chewing on my chair, but that is amazing. I didn't realize that there was that matching part to the mentorship program. That's really cool. And I'm positive something that a lot of new VAs struggle with, just finding that ideal client. So that's really cool. Okay, so we've been going about 25 minutes, and there's one more thing that I absolutely want to make sure that we talk about. I find this. First of all, I didn't say this when you told me a few minutes ago. I did not ever think that you were copying off of me, but we are both doing a 12 Days of Christmas promotion, and I would love to hear about yours.
Yeah. So I have decided to do a 12 days of Christmas. And so I don't just want to do a giveaway every day because then only there's one winner and I want everyone to win. So I'm going to be doing, there will be 4 pieces to each day. There will be a daily draw. There will be a special offer or promotion each day. There will be a free resource or some type of guide or checklist or something that can help bring you value to build your business coming for the new year. And I will also be bringing in an expert collaborator for each day, and they will also be adding to the giveaway, and they will also be potentially offering different promotions as well. So each day there will be a different collaborator. And so unlike JKN, I do require you to give me your email address to get into the 12 days of Christmas. And so I do have that everything will go through the email, and then I will be posting every day for the live.
Okay, so let me be clear. I am only giving away 12 gifts. So not everybody will be a winner, but I'm giving away like big memberships. One of my giveaways is a whole year of my Superfan Accelerator, which I didn't do the math on what that would look like, on what the value of that is, but I apologize. Everybody cannot win. And my family. But here's the thing. The other thing that's important is my giveaway is I'm actually doing a straight giveaway this time. Most of the time when you opt, you have to still give me your email so I know how to reach out to you. But most of the time when you opt into any of my free events or whatever that looks like, you go into my nurture sequence, right? So you get access to my everyday JKN Inspire Your Day motivational email. And this, it says on the thing, you don't get put into that. So you don't have to wonder or worry, hey, is this really going to be worth it to give my email? But I don't want to be flooded. I'm not going to do that to you. So how can somebody, or do you have the link yet for them to sign up for the okay. So here's what we're going to do. She's going to send me that link after we finish up, and I'm going to make sure to post it and my 12 days of Christmas. So you get like 24 days of Christmas, or 12 days of Christmas times 2. Both of those links in the comments of all of the places where this is streaming. When does yours start?
On the 12th.
Mine too. So, and people can start enrolling today?
Yep.
Okay. And then also, how are you announcing the winners? Or better yet, what's your plan? Are you going to go live somewhere every day? Like, tell me what that looks like. What does your process look like? I like to use words that are not typically American. So I started adapting process and also aluminium.
What was the second word?
Aluminium. How the European aluminum. It's hard for me now to say.
Oh.
I love it. It's like my favorite word, aluminium. It took me months to be able to say it. Anyway,
I can't say that. I won't even try. Okay, so I don't know what we're talking about now.
I know. Okay, I'm sorry. This is why people love to watch me, because we talk about such random stuff in between. And you never know where I'm gonna go. Aluminium. What the hell? Anyway, you were gonna tell me what the content looks like. Like, how will people know what the giveaway is that day? Are you going live? What's that?
Yes. So every day you will receive an email telling you what that day's prizes look like, what the promotion is for that day. The free resource will be linked in that email. And then at 9:00, this is all Mountain Time, just to make it easy for my brain. So all in Mountain Time. 9:00, I will be going live in several different groups and on LinkedIn. That is all linked in the email that you will receive once you sign up. And so I will be going live at 9:00, and I will talk about each of the items, for the giveaway and what the promotion is, and talk a little bit more about it. I will bring on the collaborator for that day, and they will talk about their giveaway and who they are and what they do. And And then at 4:00 every day, I will go live again and I will spin the wheel and announce the winner for that day. And then that winner will also be announced in the next day's email going out for the next day. And I'm not giving away any idea of what each day is because I love surprises. And I really want this to be like when you were a kid and you had an advent calendar and you had no idea what the next day was. So that is what this is about.
Listen, my kids and their advent calendars, they know on day 2 what everything is because they've already opened everything.
My daughter figured out the trick. She can lift up the cardboard and see all of them now.
Yeah. Those darn kids. Okay, so for those of you that are time zone challenged, the 9 a.m. Mountain live event will wait. Is that a live event or an email?
Live event. Yeah.
Okay, so that's 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Mountain, 8 a.m. Pacific, and the 4:00 live, the afternoon live, is 6:00 Eastern, 5:00 Central, 4:00 Mountain, 3:00 Pacific. It's a cool skill I have, right? Okay, Cherie, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for, first of all, telling us all about your mentorship program and giving us some things to consider when it comes to our calendar so that we can fix the holes in our funnels, make sure that we are giving people an amazing customer journey from their very first experience, very first appointment with us. And then, of course, the 12 days of Christmas. I am going to enter to win. And I know I already said it, but I'll be sure to put the link for my 12 days of Christmas giveaways as well in all the comments. So thank you, you guys. Continue being the badasses that you are. I will be back next week. I have no idea who my guest is because I didn't write that down before we went live, but it's going to be amazing because it's amazing every time. Oh, and that also reminds me, be checking the Facebook group, all of the places that I post events. My December Purpose and Profits event has been announced. It is live. It will be December 15th. Is that next Friday?
That is next Friday.
Okay, so I will not, that's why I don't know who it is. There will not be a Badass Funnel Fiesta next week because next week is the Purpose and Profits event. So I will be teaching, coaching, doing my annual promo strategy workshop. Where we go through all of the things that you may be launching or working on in the next year so that you can be sure that you don't overlap your launches, that you have everything in place so that you can have amazing launches and you just kind of have some clarity about what's going on. So make sure I will put that link also in all of the descriptions and in the comments. And with that, guys, have a great weekend and I hope to see you next Friday.